Lot of corny, man. A lot of corny rappers, man. I'm just like, yo, man. I could name a list of 100 corny rappers, yo, right now. Mad from New York. They ain't supposed to be rapping. I mean, who really like these? Who really like these? Tell me, I want to know somebody.
Then I met the devil in God's country. You know, and it's not so much who, it's what, you know, what happens.
The Hip Hop Task Force was created to watch Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, to watch the artists that was connected with P. Diddy.
3 conversations with the devil. Why with the devil?
Well, to make a fair decision, I think you have to be aware of both sides. And I was approached, so of course I had a conversation. It doesn't mean I rode with him or believed him. I just was able to recognize him by what he said to me and what he offered me. Say, oh.
If you've been around long enough to remember when hip-hop was more than just viral clips and trending sound bites, when it was about real stories told directly by the artists, then you know how disappointing it is that some of the most crucial interviews have simply vanished. Over the years, countless hip-hop interviews and first-hand accounts have mysteriously disappeared. Clips removed from YouTube, recordings deleted, entire conversations erased as if they never took place. This usually happens when artists begin revealing the darker, behind-the-scenes operations of the industry. Their voices are often silenced quickly. That's exactly what happened with some of the most important interviews involving DMX and Mobb Deep's Prodigy. Both were vocal about the industry's hidden side and weren't afraid to mention influential figures like Diddy and Jay-Z. They also spoke out about who might really be pulling the strings in the background.
Behind the scenes.
The group that was formed like in the 1700s, something like that, 1600s. This dude named Adam Weishaupt. He started this group of people, like powerful, rich people that basically could shape popular opinion and the way, you know, the world is gonna
like many before them, much of the footage where DMX and Prodigy shared these revelations has been wiped clean from the web and essentially buried. Why? Because the truths they revealed posed a threat to the people in power. In various interviews, DMX spoke about an industry built on manipulation and control where certain moguls maintained dominance over artists. The names Diddy and Jay-Z were frequently mentioned in these conversations. Prodigy, who never held back when talking about the industry, often referred to a powerful network operating behind the curtain, one that influences not just the music scene but broader society. While much of the content where they discuss these topics has strangely vanished, some key clips remain. So let's take a closer look at what DMX and Prodigy were really warning us about and why some people might prefer you didn't hear it.
A lot of times people say, you're a conspiracy theorist, you watch too many movies or something like that, you know? But a lot of stuff I was learning was very real.
Okay, we'll begin with DMX and his cautionary words about darkness within the industry. In 2007, he appeared on HBO's Def Poetry Jam and performed a compelling piece called The Industry. It was a major moment. X spoke openly and didn't hold back. He laid out how the music business really operates and how artists are often pressured to compromise or conform just to keep their careers afloat.
The industry, man, it's not the same. Doesn't have to do with talent, it's about playing the game. The industry, real is dying to get in. The industry, just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that. But I'm going dress like this and talk with the bat. The industry got your word meaning nothing. The industry, what you heard, because he's bluffing. The industry, money, hate, but I dare you to try to take a thing off my plate if you ain't got a strong mind. The industry will break you down, it's a matter of time. The industry, vultures with nothing to feast on. See me, I'm getting my beast on. The industry, stay in the dirt, play in the dirt, test the wrong one in the industry and you will get hurt. I'm not an industry artist, I'm an artist in the industry. Industry, wanted, dead or alive, new artists to sell their souls in the way they survive. The industry don't give a about you. but the industry couldn't make a dime without you.
DMX didn't limit his comments to shady contracts or conflicts with record labels. He believed there was something much bigger at play, a spiritual struggle going on behind closed doors.
Whenever I went through something, it brought me closer to God. And I stayed in the something. So now I'm closer to God. But being closer is hard. The attacks get stronger, become much harder to fight, and they last longer. That's what it's always been. Joy, pain, dark with the light, sun with the rain. With the right perspective, there can be something to gain. Look for the good and the bad. Not the sun.
In his music and interviews, X frequently spoke about encounters with evil forces. He suggested that certain individuals within the industry were connected to that darker energy and were tasked with influencing artists to give up their integrity or even their souls. One of the most intense moments came in 2013 when he appeared on the Dr. Phil show. There, he claimed he had 3 separate experiences with the devil. He explained that truly understanding the world requires seeing both light and dark and choosing your path accordingly.
You've had a song on every album, a conversation with God.
Yes.
You've had
And a prayer.
and a prayer, and I think you've had
Three conversations with the devil.
3 conversations with the devil. Why with the devil?
Well, to make a fair decision, I think you have to be aware of both sides. And I was approached, so of course I had a conversation. It doesn't mean I rode with him
Sure.
or believed him. I just was able to recognize him by what he said to me and what he offered me. Say, oh, now I know who you are. That's why I stopped talking to him. I've put out 7 albums, but he's only on 3.
But this wasn't the first time DMX spoke about encountering the devil. In a 2009 interview from jail while serving time in Arizona, he shared that he met the devil in what he described as God's country. X didn't mention anyone by name, but it was clear from his words that the experience deeply affected him. He stated plainly that he would never return to that place.
I got you. I first came to Arizona, man, and I remember one day coming from the studio at 6 o'clock in the morning and pulling over on the highway. Be like 4 cars, just to watch the sunrise. And it was at that point that I fell in love with Arizona. I said, you know what, this has to be God's country. Because I'd never seen anything as beautiful as that sunrise. Then I met the devil in God's country. And it's not so much who, it's what, what happens and the things that the devil does. It's not so much a person, even though he acts through people. You can't call one person the devil.
Joe Arpaio?
You can't call any one person the devil. You can't do that because no one person has enough power to be the devil. And it's through all these hardships that I realized that, you know what? This is God's country because I met the devil here. Because if I hadn't met the devil here, I wouldn't realize I was strong enough to overcome the obstacles that the devil would place in my path. And it's by overcoming these obstacles that I realized that this is God's country. Because he helped me get over these obstacles. He helped me get over these hurdles.
Okay, but when you're done here, when you're out of here,
I'm not looking back.
you're not coming back?
No, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back for a show. I'm not coming back for a visit. I'm not even driving through the states. If I'm in a plane and they gotta fly over it, I'm gonna go around.
So what exactly did DMX mean when he said he met the devil in Arizona? Was he speaking figuratively, or was there something more to it? It's possible he crossed paths with someone who presented him with a tempting offer, one that came with conditions. Maybe he was forced to choose between staying true to himself or giving in. Over the years, DMX wasn't shy about calling out specific individuals in the industry.
Like, damn, I'm glad
And this isn't the only thing that DMX talked about. He also talked about how there were people in the industry that basically wanted to take you out to dinner and stuff to get a hold of your music. And you cannot tell me that DMX was not talking about Diddy, because the first thing that I thought of is when 50 Cent said that Diddy asked to take him shopping.
Now, when it comes to Jay-Z, after he became president of Def Jam in 2004, DMX claimed Jay started blocking the release of his 6th album, Year of the Dog, again. And according to X, it was all because Jay decided not to retire after all and wanted to get rid of the competition.
Like I said, I had the crazy track record, Def Jam, everything was good. I go to do the 6th album, and
Jay-Z became president.
Yeah. When he first got the job, he hit me with the call like, yo, dog, inmates is running the building, like, yo, you good? Finish the album, shoot the video. What happened? Shit didn't. We don't know. What you mean you don't know? How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know.
But DM's frustration with Jay-Z ran deeper than just surface-level conflict. A major part of it stemmed from who Jay was associated with behind the scenes, especially people like Liar Cohen. Cohen is the same industry executive who has openly admitted to promoting substance-related content through the artists he signed, despite being aware of the growing opioid crisis that this culture contributes to.
Real bad problem, DMX.
I'm so sad. DMX, there's two people inside of him, and the Earl is one of the nicest people. I put him up in Lake George. Earl loved being silent with a fishing pole. I shit you not. He just would stay on that dock hours and hours and hours and hours. Yeah, very, very sad. You know, I think the opioid problem, the syrup problem, is the biggest problem that I've ever seen and I've ever faced, and been a part of, and I can't with it. You know, the crack thing was devastating, but at least the rappers were bringing a spotlight to you becoming a fiend. Okay, and I thought that spotlight, head crack, helped, even though it was harsh and really really rough, particularly on women. But I think it helped change the course of the crack epidemic. I don't know what's this opioid thing, man.
Well, being a crackhead wasn't cool back then. Being a crackhead wasn't cool. Now it seems like they're making it cool to be drinking lean and syrup and.
It's the most dangerous. It's the most dangerous thing that's facing our society.
So why sign an artist that would promote that?
Because I already answered that question. You weren't paying attention. She asked me talent or issues, and I said talent. But I have to. I can't give up on people.
Don't you think that's hypocritical though? You're saying the
it's
opioid problem's a
opportunistic.
problem.
Yeah. I got people to feed. I got a business to run.
You're gonna make Dame Dash take this clip and call you a culture vulture.
Who's Dame Dash? You brought him up. I don't even know him. So you bring his name up. I don't even know him. So
y'all made a lot of money together.
Made a lot of
money.
Come
on, Leo. Don't do that to him.
I don't know him. I really don't. So, I don't know what to tell you. I won't be complicit.
This is the same Liar Cohen that Jay-Z referred to as his mentor in his memoir, Decoded. In the book, Jay wrote, Liar Cohen, who I consider my mentor, once shared with me a teaching from a rabbi about the 8 levels of giving in Judaism. There's no denying that Liar is a major figure in the industry, but he's also been at the center of several controversies. Some even speculate that he might have connections to intelligence agencies, using his industry influence to steer hip-hop in a particular direction. The theory gained traction after inconsistencies surfaced in interviews. In a 2023 appearance on Vlad TV, Cohen initially said his mother was a housewife, but later revealed that she worked for the Israeli government, raising questions about his background.
Incredible parents, 3 other brothers, and just a loving, happy family. My dad was the head of psychiatry for Kaiser Permanente, and my mother was just a housewife and raising children, and remarkable period of my life.
Now, I've always assumed that you were born in Israel because you have a slight accent when you speak. Have you heard this before?
Yeah, so my parents weren't immigrants because they weren't staying here.
Okay.
So my biological father was coming here just for his education. And my mother worked for the Israeli government.
Mm-hmm.
And so When I was born, I went straight back to Israel.
Oh, so you stayed there for a while.
I spent my first 3 years in Petach Tikva.
Okay, and after you graduated, you went to go work for the Bank of Leumi?
Yeah, Bank Leumi is the National Bank of Israel. My mother got me the job, and it was just when the Shah fell in Iran, and all of the Jewish Persians came straight to Beverly Hills. So we were counting money there.
A lot of money.
And, you know, I was supposed to be a financial analyst, but I ended up counting money, and I think I was making $14,000 a year. I was miserable. It was a horrible existence, but my mother got me the job. I have a college degree, and so I thought that was the responsible thing for me to do.
Jay-Z himself has also been the subject of speculation, with some accusing him of being an informant or having ties to government operations claims linked to his longtime associate and Roc Nation president, Desiree Perez.
Why is the industry bowing down to Desiree Perez? Is it because of her connection to Jay-Z? It can, because a lot of people is connected to Jay-Z. There's a lot of agents and employees at Roc Nation. Desiree Perez just happens to have the juice. And one can say it's probably the ties to the cartel. She probably knows how to make the skeletons disappear.
Circling back to Liar and DMX, many haven't forgotten the comments Liar made after DMX passed away from a suspected overdose in 2021. According to Billboard, Liar described DMX as a gremlin, saying the race against time was X. He was a gremlin, reckless, always looking for a wall to crash into. His death was no surprise if you followed his story. While it's known that DMX struggled with personal issues, publicly calling him a gremlin after his death and implying that he brought it on himself comes across as not only disrespectful, but outright cruel. What's more disturbing is that Liar later claimed he played a role in DM's success. However, according to the late Irv Gotti, both Liar and Jay-Z used to mock DMX behind the scenes, believing he didn't have the talent or presence to succeed.
First meeting I ever had, I was like, we gotta sign DMX, and they laughed at me. I remember when I left the office, Tina Davis said, she knew what I wanted to sign DMX. She said, DMX don't sell, your ass is fired. Jay and Dame did not believe in DMX. Jay would be like, you think he's better than me? And I'd be like, he's nice just like you. I said, if you look in the hood, there's less of like you and more like him. Yeah, but he don't want to live that. He's depressing, Gotti. And I said, I don't give a f. So Jay used to watch me grind with X, and he was off with the Hitman. And then something strange happened when I made Get At Me Dog. If you remember at the beginning of the video, it's the heartbeats. Doom, doom. DMX, doom, doom. Live at the tunnel. Y'all don't even remember the tunnel. Funk Master was doom, doom. And then I put that sound bite. Let's take it back to the streets, mother. Doom, doom. The videos flashing, f***ing up your eyes. It caused change. And now, there was no more shiny suits. We back to the hood, and X is the leader of this revolution. I used to put on the wall a triangle with 5. And it was like, they used to clown me. And they used to be like, who's gonna buy his records, Gotti? Chihuahuas, he's barking. No one wants to hear that bullshit. And I'd be like, yeah. Sold 5. It was no more writing on the walls. It was, y'all can get behind me. I used to tell Leo and the whole staff, and I would tell him, yo, shut the f up, yo. I said, you work better when you shut up and get behind me. Now this is what we doing. And he would shut up.
Now, if we're going to talk about individuals who spoke out against Jay-Z and his powerful affiliations, then passed away under questionable circumstances, we have to bring up the late Prodigy from Mobb Deep. He often warned about the Illuminati, and while some dismiss that term as pure conspiracy, Prodigy insisted there was real truth behind it, something far more disturbing than most realize.
I still had no fear in my heart, you know, about speaking my mind and letting people know what time it is. There's no reason for me to fear, because it's really nothing. There's nothing they can do besides and I'm not afraid of that. Ritualistic and rituals on little, you know, they little kids doing satanic sex rituals. Like, this stuff is really going on in this world. Like, you know what I mean? You got, you know, sick people like Jeffrey Dahmer and different people like that. And I believe that it was a different background to it, why he was doing what he was doing. I think it was some ritualistic things going on.
Regarding Prodigy and Jay-Z, their feud dates back to the late 1990s and early 2000s during a time of intense rivalries in New York hip-hop. Jay later claimed they had resolved their issues before Prodigy's passing, but things took a strange turn when a letter Prodigy wrote from jail surfaced online. While that letter has since been removed from major websites, it can still be found on old blogs and internet forums. In the letter, Prodigy alleged that Jay-Z is fully aware of the true powers behind both the music industry and society at large, but rather than exposing them, he aligned himself with them for personal benefit. Prodigy wrote, "The government, religions, politics, the Federal Reserve, the earth's everything we live by is a joke." He said Jay-Z was aware of the truth but chose to stand with the same forces he should have opposed. According to Prodigy, Jay misleads the black community by promoting a lifestyle that serves these controlling powers. Prodigy vowed to keep calling out Jay-Z, the Illuminati, and all forms of evil until the end of his life. "I fear nothing and no one," he wrote. "I am fearless because the truth has freed me from the Illuminati's mental chains. I've been empowered by God and the universe." Strangely, just 5 months before his death, Prodigy released what would be his final album, Hegelian Dialectic, the Book of Revelation. On it, he went deep into ideas about secret societies, hidden agendas, and the people pulling the strings behind the curtain. Reportedly, he was also developing a full musical project based on these same themes. But then, unexpectedly, his life ended on June 20th, 2017. Now, here's the part that left many fans questioning the official narrative. Prodigy had long battled sickle cell disease, so at first, many assumed complications from that condition caused his death. However, the coroner's report claimed he died after choking on a boiled egg while in the hospital. That explanation raised a lot of eyebrows. The situation seemed so unusual that Prodigy's family ended up suing Spring Valley Medical Center in Las Vegas. The lawsuit claimed the hospital mishandled his and didn't monitor his oxygen levels, even after doctors specifically instructed them to. But still, no clear explanation was given for how someone could choke on a boiled egg in a hospital setting. And honestly, many of Prodigy's fans never bought that story. A lot of people still believe he was silenced because he was exposing too much and speaking too boldly about the Illuminati and the elite circle often associated with Jay-Z and Diddy. So, when you step back and consider everything DMX and Prodigy said, the people they named, the systems they criticized, and the warnings they shared, it becomes difficult not to wonder whether their deaths were more than coincidences. Both men directly called out major figures like Jay-Z and Diddy and spoke about hidden forces influencing the industry, and both passed away under suspicious conditions. So, was it all just random, or did they lose their lives for telling the truth? What do you think? Did DMX and Prodigy pay the ultimate price for speaking out? Or is it just another case of conspiracy theories filling in the gaps? Share your thoughts in the comments and then check out the next video.